Hi everyone, this is Miss S from Excelsior Charter School, and today we're going to be covering Geometry Lesson 1-8, the coordinate plane. So we're going to cover these vocabulary points today, and we're going to get started with the coordinate plane. So this is the coordinate plane here, and right here in the center is the origin. That's point 0, 0, and you will always have two different coordinates here. An x coordinate will go first, and that goes left and right, and a y coordinate will go second, and it goes up and down. So it'll always go x comma y. And so depending on how far you need to move, so to get to this point here that they have marked out, you have to move 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right, so that'll be a positive 3, and then you have to move up 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces up. So the coordinate for this point would be 3, 4. And you could do the same no matter where you needed to go to. So if we needed to go to this point right here, we would start back at the origin. We would move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces back, 1, 2 spaces down. The coordinates would be -5, -2. And that's how you use the coordinate plane. Next, we're going to talk about the distance formula and how do you find out the distance between points on a coordinate plane. To do that, you would use this formula right here. So the distance equals the square root of x coordinate sub 2 minus x coordinate sub 1, that whole quantity squared, plus y coordinate sub 2 minus y coordinate sub 1, that whole quantity squared. So you subtract the x values and then square the answer. You subtract the y values, square that, and then you add those two together and take the square root. So I've included some endpoints here, and we can find the distance between them. This is actually from the third question on this lesson. This is the distance between Elm and Symphony. So the coordinates for Elm are -3, -6, and the coordinates for Symphony are 1, 2. And then I am simply going to put those into my formula. This is an x and this is a y, and this is an x and this is a y. And it does not matter which one you want to make point 1 and which one you want to make point 2. It doesn't matter at all. And then you just simply plug them in. So we'll have the square root of the second x coordinate is 1 minus the first x coordinate, which is -3, and we will square that. And then we'll take the second y coordinate 2, take away the first y coordinate, which was -6, and we'll square that. Negative negatives are always positives, so that makes 1 plus 3, which is 4 squared. 2 plus 6 is 8 squared, and we'll do the square root of 16, because that's 4 squared, plus 64, which is 8 squared. So we have the square root of 80, which when you take that, you get just below 9. You get about 8.9, so approximately 8.9. And that's how you use the distance formula. The next formula is midpoint formula. Remember, the midpoint is the point in the middle between the two ends. And there is a formula here on the screen for you. X sub 2 plus x sub 1 divided by 2 will give you the x coordinate. Y sub 2 plus y sub 1 divided by 2 will give you the y coordinate. But what I want you to remember is if we needed to find the average of our two ages, your age and my age, to find the average, we would add our two ages together and divide by 2 because there's 2 of us. And that's the same thing you're doing here. Midpoint is just looking for the average of the x coordinates and the average of the y coordinates. So this is another question from your lesson. And so our midpoints of these two endpoints, so it's 2, -5 and 6, 13. And all you really need to do here is add these two together. 2 plus 6 is 8, and we're going to divide that by 2 to get 4. And a -5 and a 13, you actually end up subtracting. And again, what you'll get here is actually 8. You'll divide that by 2, and you'll get 4. So our midpoint is 4, 4. You can also, if you prefer, go ahead and plug those in just like we did for the distance formula, and that will work as well, whichever way you want to do it. You will need to be cautious on the midpoints because sometimes they'll give you a midpoint and one end point and ask you for the other end point. So just be careful when you're doing that one to make sure that you are looking for the right thing. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys do great.